Good day, my name is Gia, and welcome to this webinar designed to meet the needs of those of you who are administrators of standalone single schools. We term this account as such because your school is operating on its own. That is, you are not within the district's account and you operate by yourself as a single school. As the administrator, you set up everything and you are responsible for making sure your teachers and students use the program well. With that in mind, in this webinar, I will walk you through the interfaces and operations you have at your fingertips as a single standalone school administrator. Specifically, this means that I will be overviewing your dashboard and its components, the curriculums available to you, the class and school-based reports, the administrators tabs that host the school management, classroom, user management interface, and the upload tabs. And finally, I'm going to walk you through just quickly as a teacher and student what you'll see should you ever log on as them. So let's get started. The first thing you need to make sure is have all of your students and teachers log on to your specific typing agent web page. Because we have so many schools now who are working at a distance or schools that are doing distance learning, many times students just want to go to typingagent.com and log in here, and then they'll come log in with that login screen and try logging in here, then they'll complain, Miss or Mr, I can't get on. Well, you can't get on because you're logging into our generic account. You need them to make sure they're logging into your account that would have your school's name on the top here somewhere. We always do it for any school we create. So your school's name should be there. So my school is TA Standalone School, hence this is why I'm logging in here. So I log in with my username and password that my administrator, you, would have given me. As the administrator, your account reps would have given you your unique username and password to get into this account. If you do not have that information, just contact them, and someone from Maribou K-12 will get in contact with you, or you can write us at support@typingagent.com and we'll get you in contact with your account rep to make sure you're set up well. So once you sign into Typing Agent, you're going to land on this dashboard. Now, hopefully you'll have more information going on here. This is my demo account and I hardly ever use it as I'm in so many other accounts. But I just wanted to show you how this will work. This is your landing page or your splash page, or as we call it, the dashboard. This here, once your school or your students start using the program, you will find this will give you lots of information. This graph will be filled because your students will be practicing every day and they will be using it more and more. So you will have a plethora of data here. Typing Agent recommends that your students spend 10 minutes 5 days a week, and they're working at 2 stars. So five times a week for 10 minutes a day, we suggest that your students do that. Now, some of them, as I said previously, they're working from home, so that's easy to do. And some of you, if you're in school, then you can use Typing Agent as your introductory activity. If kids are going into the tech lab, they can start with Typing Agent and switch to something else. If you have centers, your kids can go and use them within their centers. But Typing Agent's lessons are short and sweet and are meant that when kids log into Typing Agent, they get serious, they settle down, they do their best while still having fun. As Csikszentmihalyi Mihai calls it, they get into their flow state. We want them to be working at optimal rates, but doing it conscientiously and always doing their best. So this is what we're trying to do with Typing Agent. So when they're using it consistently, when you log onto this page, you'll be able to see this legend, that is, and this is based on the month. the month of use that your kids have. It tells you your minutes practiced. The dotted lines tells you how many student sessions you've done and how many lessons have been done. Should you click on any of these, and I'll just click here, it will tell you the grade that is actively using the program, and hopefully you'll be seeing all of this full, because all of your grades will be better than mine, and you'll see activity going there, and you'll be able to see again by grade level and class. Sorry, I should have said by class because I had landed on that class tab, and it tells you the classroom name that's there. And then this here tells you which grade levels are actually working. So I click back on my dashboard and it takes me back here, and I can see again how many students are working. You just use this report here, this graph here, to give you a little bit of information. I want you to let's walk across this dashboard. This typing agent, should ever I be in the program and I want to get back to this page, I just click this typing agent button or my dashboard button, and I will get to this splash page. Should I want to search for student, staff, or classrooms, I can just write whatever I want in here. If I had a student called Bob, I can search, and sure enough, there's a student called Bob. I can go and find him. I can see and manipulate set his password, see if he's even there. If there's no student or by the name of Bob, then I know that I need to go and add that particular student, or I can do adjustments for this particular student. Okay, but I can do that for students and teachers, admins. This is my search tool, and I can use it for searching for anything. These are the tabs if I want to view my curriculum, my reports, my school admin, and I'm going to go over these in a few seconds with you, and my help tab. Usually what's at the top here will be your administrator's username. My administrator's username is TA help for this account, so this is why it says TA help. But when I hover over it, I can see my profile. So if I have my name, I can do edits. Should I want to change my account to let someone else be the administrator of the account, I can go ahead and do that. But notice I cannot change the username. I can add my name, my last name, give myself my email address. I can change my email address. I can give myself a new password. Those are the things that I can do here. And then once I've done that, I can save that. Should you need someone else to become the administrator, you need to contact support@typingagent.com or contact your account rep at Maribou K-12, and we will assign we will do the behind the scenes work to give that person the administrative privileges that you no longer want. I can click here and I can click account. In my account, I can see exactly the URL that my students should be signing on at. And it's important that you give your students this address, because again, whenever they log in at your secure web address, and this is my secure TA web address, that's the address that my students will be logging in. Once they put in their usernames and passwords, they will be logging into this account specifically. My account rep is there, so if ever I needed to contact my account rep, Linda's email address and her phone number is there, so you can go ahead and contact her. It tells me how many accounts I have, when's my end date, and how many days I have left, how much usage, that is how many students I have, how many student licenses I've created, and how many are being used. Should I ever want to export my data, I can actually go ahead, click that. That is when my students have worked. I can actually export that, the work that they've done in a CSV file to keep for future references. So if ever I wanted this demo student button, it's really important that I know this is there. This is actually in the program twice, and I'm going to show you where it is when we get to it. This demo student button is there should you ever want to see what is it that students see when they're in Typing Agent. I can go in and I can see what the K2 students see, and I can click on and view that. I go back to this phone home button, and it's operating exactly as what the children would see. If I see this red here, I know this student in grade 3 has not done the placement or diagnostic tests yet. So this is why this student can't move on, and that student is you, because you're the only demo student. But this gives you a chance to practice within Typing Agent. And while I'm actually on this page, I may as well explain to you what these stars mean. These stars, when children work within Typing Agent, our goal is to have them always earn 2 or more stars. So if students are working at grade level, they will earn 2 stars. So when they get 3 stars, they will actually, in this particular world, they will earn 111 stars. If they're earning 2 stars, that means they're somewhere near, say, 55, 56 stars, and that's fine. If they've earned 56 stars, then this will turn blue, and then they can move on to this particular world. So whenever you see this, this is just an encouragement for children to keep working at their optimal best. So notice any of these curriculums, when I click on phone home, it takes me to all of the curriculums, and notice all of them are open to you. So whenever you want to go in and try your hand at Typing Agent, please use that demo student button, and all of them are green, so that means you have access to it. I'm clicking my return to admin button to get me back to my dashboard or my splash page. And remember, I was under here. This Solution Center button is there, so any question you have, say for Typing Agent, let's call, say, I'm the school admin. I'm going to put school administrator, and I'm going to put resetting. Say I had a question about resetting students. I can go ahead and look for that, and notice any topics that are related to my account, like beginning the school year. This is about resetting students for the new school year. Many people will be interested in this. So all of these types of things that are related to resetting your data, this will be here. So this, whenever you search your keywords, if you were to put school admin and put any keyword that or questions you have, we will put suggestions that you may have to answer your questions. So that's why we have that there, and I'll show you where we have that in the program again. And then finally, should you want to log out, you can do so securely by clicking that log out button. Once you do that, you go to our generic Typing Agent page. Your students go to that generic page as well, instead of going to your secure Typing Agent web address. We do that because many times your students may be at the library or someone else's house. We do not need them having your secure web address. So we just send them to the generic page, and should they try to log in, they will not be able to go there. So only students within your school should have your secure web address, their usernames, and their passwords. Okay, so now I've talked about those. I've talked about the dashboard. I'm now going to go to this admin button. Once I notice, I just scrolled over, I'm on my admin. I can see the tabs that are under my admin. What I want to do is I want to click on that so I can see that clearly. And when I click on my admin button, it shows me if I've never used Typing Agent before, or if I need to update things, these are where I can do this. I'm going to start with 1, then 2, then 3. I need to upload my staff. And in Typing Agent, I can do that really easily. I can use a CSV file to do that. This is a sample one that I can use. And in my CSV file, notice it tells me my first column is for role. So if I'm writing for my teachers, because remember, I'm uploading my staff. My teachers can either be a teacher, or my teacher can be an admin. So anyone who has access, or who should have access to all students, you can give them an admin credential. If they're teachers and they're going to be assigned to specific classrooms, then I can give them a teacher login role. So then title, it can be Mr., Mrs., Doctor, but you give them a title. And see, here are the things that you can use for title. Notice these are the options you can use for role. For username, you have to give each teacher a unique username. You cannot have, say, 2 admin ones or 2 Victors. Each teacher needs a unique login credential or username, so that when they log into their specific account. Many times people use the teacher's email address as their username and the email, and it's important for the email to be there. So if teachers were to lose or forget their email addresses, we can send an email reset to them. But again, it's optional. You don't need to have that. But notice which fields are optional and which is required. It's always good to have the teacher's first and last name so they know that it's their account when they log in. The password, you can make it whatever you want it to be. This does not have to be unique. The teacher can actually go in and modify it, just like how I showed you how to change your password. The teacher can log in and change his or her password too. So they can do that. And if you're uploading with a CSV file, you can do these here. It says C for create a new staff member, U to update an existing staff member. That is, if you want to change an email address or change a password, you can actually do that. Or if you wanted to delete an existing staff member, that staff member is no longer in your school, you can actually delete that that teacher with a CSV file. Now, oftentimes we get the question, well, what is a CSV file? Well, basically a CSV file is an Excel spreadsheet or a spreadsheet. And instead of saving it as an XLS or SLX spreadsheet, you save it as a CSV file. So when you go to save it and you click that save it as, you can save it as a CSV file. So now that I've done that, I follow these steps. And if I get everything right when you do preview, you'll see it. And if you go to upload, there'll be another file, another column comes up here, and it'll tell you where the files are. CSV files are very finicky. If you have, say, an extra space or an accent or cedilla or something on this, it may not load properly. So whenever you create your CSV files, if you have hyphens or accents, just take them out from the get-go, upload your file, then go back and do any edits you need to do. So once I've uploaded my file, I will be told success, and I will see that my success, how many lines of data I had actually uploaded, and if they all had uploaded properly, I will get a success message. I'm going to click back here on my admin button, and I'm now going to go to 2. After I've uploaded my staff, I now want to assign a classroom to my staff. So I click on this, and I can now see this tells me what to do. It tells me that I need to give a class code to my classrooms, and if I haven't given a class code, Typing Agent will automatically supply them when I create my classrooms. It's important that you remember the class code and get it exactly right. Whether Typing Agent creates it or you create it, you have to match it, because when you put your students into your classrooms, they have to match the class code. So going along, you have your class code, you have a column with class name, your teacher username. Yes, you've created your staff, so now you can put your teachers in here. So put your teacher's username, whatever you created it as, that goes there. And then your C's, D's, U's. You're creating a new classroom, you're updating that class or deleting that classroom. You follow those rules. keep the same order that this is in. You save it as a CSV file, and then you upload it. And same thing, if errors are in this file, then another column will appear that will tell you what types of error you're making. Go and check it, because again, CSV files can be very finicky. Going back to admin, I'm clicking on my this 3 now. I've done 1, I've done 2, and now I've done 3. I'm having to do 3. This is now where I'm uploading my students into Typing Agent. So remember, again, remember I said you have to remember the class code because your students have to go into a particular class. So now I'm putting my students in a classroom. Now notice these ones here where the students are not in a classroom, they're going to go into your unassigned students boxes, and you're going to have to move them somewhere when you're ready to deal with them. I personally like getting them over and done with from the get-go and put them in their classrooms so they're assigned to the correct teacher and the correct curriculum from the get-go. So anyway, that's there. You put the correct class code. The students, just like the teachers, must have a unique username. So you can call them their first name, their last name. If they're using their Gmail accounts, their Gmail email addresses could be their usernames, their first name, give them the last name, their passwords. If they're using Gmail, then not necessarily, you don't have to do this. I'll show you another way how to have your kids register with Gmail, with Google Classroom. But if you're not having them do that, you can put in whatever password that they use generally at your school, you can fill that in there for them. This grade here, by putting them at a grade level, you're making sure you're assigning the correct curriculum to them. Notice in kindergarten, we need an integer. So for kindergarten students, you would put them at 0. 0 will be the grade they're in, and they will be fed the kindergarten curriculum. Students in grade 1 get 1, grade 4 get 4, grade 7 will get 7. That's how you would manage those. You can create, update, or delete students, just like you did with other staff members. You do those. That's how you create or add, update students. Then these tags, if you needed things in your own, for your own CSV file, for your own good, that's what these are here for. Typing Agent will do nothing with these. If you choose not to use these tags, that's fine. But we do need you to leave these columns there. Tag 1, tag 2, leave them there. You can leave them empty. That's the sure way of making sure your file is uploaded without any errors. Use them in the exact same order we tell you to do. That is class code, username, first name, last name, password, grade, action, tag 1, tag 2. The optional will tell you which ones are optional. The ones that are required will tell you which ones are required. You just upload your CSV file, follow the steps. We walk you step by step through these, and we'll tell you if errors happen. So if you have, say, anemia with accents over any of the letters, or pastiche or whatever, if there are accents or non-English features there, just don't use them. Take them out of the CSV file because you're going to probably get an error message. So once you've done that, then you will have uploaded all of your staff, classrooms, or students. Now, there are some schools, standalone single schools, that will have their districts upload you with Clever or ClassLink. That is doable. If that were the case, you will only have this upload your staff. Only this feature will be available because all of these other things will be handled by your rostering system. So only your staff will be there, and the only thing you can do with this is upload your administrator, because oftentimes in Clever and ClassLink, you cannot upload administrators. So when we do the nightly syncs, if you have teachers in there or students in there, that's going to be overwritten every time. So only your administrators can be uploaded into a standalone single school if you're using Clever or ClassLink. I just wanted to state that from the get-go. If those of you who are not using that, and most schools do not use those rostering platforms, then you're fine. You just follow the 1, 2, 3 steps that I've given you, and you would have uploaded all of your people into the program in your classes. I clicked on school management and I get to this tab. This here is something that's overlooked so often, and please don't do that. Here, we're going to ask you to set whatever time zone you're in. If you're in the Pacific time zone, set Pacific. If you're in Central, set Central. If you're in Hawaii, set Hawaii. This correct time zone is there for your students to get real good reports and for you to get reliable reports. For example, one of the reports shows in and out of school time. Well, the only way we know what time it is if you tell us what time zone you're in. And then here, telling us what time school starts and what time it ends. Well, that helps us with telling us, hey, if school ends at 4, then I know any time my kids enter the program after 4, they're on their own time. Then even though kids are working at a distance, that's fine. The typical school day starts at 4, ends at 4. So when they're working after 4, essentially it's still operating after school hours, so you can still keep track of that. Your start date, whenever your school starts, that is for the new school year, you can go ahead, change the year, the month, whatever your date is, you change it. That will be your start date. Your end date will be whatever you're in 2021, you're going to end this school year. You can go ahead and change that date and save it. And then that'll show up for your kids. And then the academic year will be, if I were to look at the next school year, it's 2021. So I change this and I click and boom, I will now be set. I now know my time settings are correct. And that's for all of my school. I don't need my teachers touching this. This is done for my school. They cannot override this. Now in permissions, this is what you permit your teachers to do. In terms of curriculum, and if you hover over any of these tooltips, we tell you exactly what each area is taking care of. So this one permits you to add or remove apps from students. So right now I have this for admins and teachers to do. If I don't want my teachers to control this and only I can do this, or administrators at my school can do this, I can set it so only my administrators can do this. So in any of these, you can set it for the admins only or for both teachers and school admins. So you can have them edit, delete, move students, reset passwords, accommodations, that is change target settings, games, accessibilities, whatever. You can have them do any of these things. Should you only want your students to use typing agent while they're at school, then you can go in and put your IPs. Now, if they're working from a distance, then you cannot set this, because when they log into their home typing agent accounts or on their home computers, they will get an error message. So this is for schools. If all of your students are at school and you only want them to do typing agent at school, then they can go in and you can put in your school's IP addresses in this field below and save it. Then this will essentially permit your kids only to work from school. Now that we're having a lot of distance learning, we're recommending, again, don't do that because you want your kids to practice. And then remembering, typing agent is 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week. If you're not able to let them get that time required in school, then let them do out of school, but then tell the parents and siblings, don't do the work for your kids. In terms of grade settings, these are the grade settings to which kids will be working. So I'm going to look at these, how we have our students segmented. We have the K through 2 students together, grade 3. Grade 3 more or less straddles two. They're not beginners, but they're not quite yet more advanced to use as the 4s and 5s. So this one, depending on how you see your students operating, you may want your grade 3 students to use the K2 curriculum, or if they're doing well, you can push them up to the 4 and 5. It's really up to you. The grade 4s and 5s, we really want them to do they should be working at a 4 and 5 level. So this is there. We have the 6 to 8s together, the 9 through 12s together. Each one of these grade segments are doing their own adventures. So let me go say to the K2 environment. The K2 environment, these will take care of all children in kindergarten through grade 2. This is your bulk settings. In kindergarten to grade 2, we have them automatically set for the K2 foundations. This is the learning environment that's made for them. You can have them do any of these other curriculums that are there. I would set my grade 2s to use that kindergarten environment, this K2, this notepad environment. I will have them do the Agent Challenge lessons. The Agent Challenge lessons will only open up when they've done a certain number of curriculums, because with all of our curriculums, we have them attached to experience points. We have targeted practice as well, and this curriculum will work with any child. If they tend to make certain errors, we will give them practice on those types of errors that they do. So once I've activated these accounts, I know using my experience points, these will be activated. That is, kids will have to go through a certain number of the curriculum, then these will open up. If I don't want them to do any of these curriculums, I don't select them and they will not have access to them. So this is how this works. With the experience points, it's now linked to games. You'll find your K2 students and even the 3-5 students. Typing Agents teaching methodology is one that's gamified. We try to make it fun and exciting, short and sweet, so that your kids want to type. So we've linked they don't need to go and do the games. There's enough fun within the lessons themselves. But we've added a twist now to our games. We've linked them, just like the curriculums, to experience points. And now for the K2 kids, the K2 kids have to earn 1,230 experience points to access those games. That's all right. Now, we've changed it where if you wanted to change this to 0, you can go ahead and do so. So your kids don't need to achieve any of those to access the games. You then have to click save. Personally, I prefer having it linked to my experience points, because my experience points tell me that the kids have gone through, they've done their lessons properly at grade level, and they've worked through enough of the program that they can now go and practice those games. Our games let them use all of the letters on the keyboard, and they may not have learned all of those. So they will be practicing bad habits. So by setting them to experience points, they would have done, at least they should have completed Mountain 1 in the K2 curriculum. And the K2 curriculum has 3 mountains that the kids have to climb. So after they finish the first mountain that's really gamified, then we can add games to their curriculum or their interface, and they can start playing the games. But those students, if say you have grade 2 students who really can ace what they're doing for their grade level, you could have them use grit coins. And the grit coins are great because the grit coins can be linked to them changing their avatars. And with everything in Typing Agent, it's always linked to successfully completing their lessons. So with experience points, they have to earn every star they earn. And we're saying students, to be successful, they have to earn 2 stars. they earn 10 points. And if they were to repeat a lesson, they earn 1 more experience point. With grit coins, however, if they successfully earn 2 stars, they earn 5 grit coins. And if they were to repeat that lesson, well, they get 0. Because many times kids may just want to go continue doing the same lesson to earn grit coins. We don't mind them repeating the lesson, but they won't earn any grit coins for those. When they earn grit coins, they can improve their avatars, make their interfaces design it in a way that makes sense for them. They can purchase things using their grit coins. And it's a great way to incorporate mathematics with purchasing, or how economics with it. Because many times teachers would say, hey, my kid had 50 grit coins, but they now have no more and they're complaining. Well, if your student went and purchased 50 grit coins worth of avatars, well, 50 take away 50 will leave 0. So it's a great way so they can learn how to manage their allowance per se, or their grit coins in Typing Agent. For K2 students, there's no placement test, so that's never enabled. The enabled for the K2 kids, yes, it's always enabled, so that when children, we teach them, the first lesson is always mouse exercises. But we know many of these children use iPads or tablets. And so if they use those, then no, they cannot use the mouse pads or mice. So hence this here, you can turn it off globally so that their first lesson will not be the mouse lessons. And if ever you wanted to bypass experience points, then you can do that. We suggest you don't, but again, Typing Agent is flexible. You're the boss. You choose what you'd like to do. And then your character count, you can decide whether you want your students only to have 100 characters or whatever you want. Again, because Typing Agent is adjusting to meet the needs of your students, you don't need to do that. We're doing that for you. So that here, you can leave it, but some people really want to control things, so we have this there for you. If ever you want to customize tests, you can decide what you want, whether you want it to be 1, 2, or 3 minutes, and how many times a student can take it. You can manage those on here too, and then click Save. In terms of grade settings, oh, sorry, that was the grade K through 2 I showed you. I should show you, say, grade 3. You can decide which interface you want them to do. I'm going to go to 4, 5, because notice the same thing tends to be there for everyone. Notice for our default settings, we'll tend to have all of these there already activated for you, except Spanish and the keyboarding 2 curriculum. So again, as students earn grit coins and experience points, these will open up at different times for them. So, and I'll explain this to you a tad bit more once we get to the curriculums area. But Typing Agent, we really try to take all of the work away from you so that you can go ahead and get these done. You don't have to worry too much because we're doing the work for you. But should you not want your kids, say, to do digital citizenship or something, you can go ahead and untag it and they will not have access to it. Then you click Save. I'm not saving that because I don't want to mess up my settings. Gradebook, this is how you do your grading. So for kindergarten, these are some of our default settings, and we're not going to push the kindergarten students too hard because our goal is we want them just to familiarize themselves with the keyboard. That is, learn that the left hand has its own thing to do, its own half to deal with. The right hand has its own half to deal with. And let me try to let my left hand stay on its side, right hand stay on its side, and use more than one finger to tap all over the place. By the time they get to 3rd grade, we want them to be using all fingers. So from K to 2, we're wanting them to use, let's get them using 2 fingers, then 3 fingers, then 4 fingers, sitting properly while they're at the keyboard. learning proper keyboarding habits. That's what we want them to do. And for your kindergarten students too, sorry, what you may want to use, instead of using A, B, and C, you can use happy faces or sad faces or satisfactory, pass, fail. You can put whatever you want here. If you think 5 is a great way, I can put 4, 3, I can put whatever numbers I want. Accuracy is the key thing you want for your little ones. So I can have them passing, say, whenever they get 3 words per minute at 70% accuracy, I can say that I want this to be a pass. Or if they get 3 here with 75% accuracy, I can put happy face there. I can do whatever I want. I can make adjustments here just to see whenever students get whatever. I can go in and adjust these so that my kids will be motivated to work. I can put this and I will start from the bottom rung and work my way up so that I can make sure I have all of these things filled in for my kindergarten kids. Or you can just let typing agents do the work for you. And notice here with typing agent, our accuracy is more important than speed. So we're really stressing with the little ones, go slowly, work accurately, and then your speed will come over time. Now notice from grade 3 on, and you may have noticed from all of these, our 2-star rating for grade 2 is whenever for grade 4 will be 20 words per minute. So we do 5 words per minute per grade level. So 5 times 4, 20. So a kid in grade 4 who earns 20 words per minute at 90% accuracy will earn an A. If they earn 20 words per minute at 85% accuracy, that they'll get anywhere from there to 17, they'll get an A minus. So they're going to be doing well. And if they get 25 words per minute, and again, you can play with these numbers, but these are our default settings. And I know I've already been in here and played with these numbers. You can go in and make adjustments for yourself. So notice grade 6. Grade 6 is 30 words per minute because it's 6 times 5, 30 at 90 words per minute. That will give your students an A. For us, it's 85% accuracy as our goals. But again, you can figure out what you want, modify it yourself. So just general rule of thumb, 5 words per minute per grade level. So that would be grade 10 times 5. So it's 50 words per minute at 85% accuracy. That will have them working at grade level. You adjust your grading system how you want, or you can use our own. So now these are our target settings, and I'm going to go to grade 4. So notice grade 2, for us, we're always wanting our children to be working at grade level competencies, at grade level targets. So when they're here at 20 words per minute, 85% accuracy, they get 2 stars. All of our tests, all of our reports come from this area here. Our maximum retries, I know many times teachers go in and change this to 4 because they get tired of students complaining, hey, I can't do it, I can't do it. Well, remember, typing agent gives students lots and lots of practice. So they should not go on to their main activity to get graded until they have this done. So keep this at no max retries. Keep this at for the whole classroom. This is the bulk settings. If you have special needs children who need to be further enhanced or modified or something, you can go in and make adjustments for yourself for those particular students. But generally, keep our settings as they are because they are proven grade level targets that your students can work towards. That's our grade 4 settings. Let's look at, say, a grade 1 setting. A grade 1 student should be working to get 2 stars, 5 words per minute at 80% accuracy to get 2 stars. 1 star, remember, if they want to earn experience points, they earn 1 star. we give them 10 points. If they earn 2 stars, they get 20 points. 3 stars, they get 30 points. So notice this is how in your setting you can have your 3 stars. So, and they get 30 experience points for this. If they earn 1 star the first time and they repeated the lesson and they earn 2 stars, well, we'll give them the extra 10 experience points because they've increased from 1 to 2. And if they did this again and increased from 2 to 3 stars, we'll give them that extra 10 experience points. It's just again to get them motivated. However, if they earned 3 stars from the get-go and they repeated it, they'll just get 1 star. They're 1 experience point. So these are how these particular things tend to work. The grade level schedule tests. This is at the school level. As the administrator, you may want your students to do a baseline test when they come into Typing Agent for the first time. Typing Agent already does that for you through the diagnostic tests, but you may decide you want to create your own. So you can create your own right in this area, whatever you want, or you may choose to use any of ours that are here, home row test, top row, bottom row, or basic test. Most people like to use this because it's a great indication of how well your students or how much your students know. The only thing I have a problem with is this begins with a capital O, and some of your students may not know how to begin with a capital O. So I wouldn't put this for my Ks, 1s, or 2s, but from grades 3s on, go ahead, you can use this. And you can decide which ones you want, which grade levels you want to assign this to, which dates you would want them to do it. So if you wanted them to start that date from the 13th, and I know it's already passed, I'm just showing this as a demonstration for you, from the 13th to the 17th, you can say if you want this test to be 1 to 3 minutes, and how many tries you want them to do. So if you set this to 3 times, and your student logs in that day, and the first time they log in on this particular day, they're going to have to do this test because it's going to pop up right in their faces. They have to do that test. They will be asked after they finish the test. And remember, the test will last for 1 minute because that's your setting. After they've done it for 1 minute, they're going to be asked, do you want to do it again? They can say yes. So once they redo the test, we're going to look to see, did the first test, did they fare better the first test, the second test? Then we're going to take the best accuracy result and we're going to report back to you. If the student then says, yes, I've had enough of doing this test, they can click off that test and they'll move on to their next lesson. If they've done it the first time and they clicked off it and they don't want to do it anymore, then this test, next time they log in, will no longer be available to them. I'm explaining this because many times we have teachers asking, well, I told them to do it 3 times. Yes, you may tell them to do it 3 times, but they may opt to do it only once. And it's up to them. Whenever we do something, we always ask students, do you want to redo the test? If they tell us no, then they're controlling that, then hence they go off. So then, as the school administrator, once they've done all the tests, once you've set that test, saved it, and served it up to your students, once you click here, you can actually click on, you'll see your test, the name of your test, and see which students actually did your test, which classrooms and students did not do your test. And you can go and have a conversation with the teacher to say, hey, get your kids to do my test. That's your baseline. You can actually even assign the exact same test at the end of the school year. So at the beginning of the school year, you can set up the test for the beginning, the middle of the school year, all at once. So you set it up once, then you can repeat it, set it up again at another date. Just choose different dates you want them to be at and then save it. So you don't have to worry about doing this anymore. Just go ahead and have your kids go and do that. Let's go into the school portal. Your school school rep or your sales rep should have set this all up for you. You could have, that is with your address, you can go and modify that. You can go ahead and put your school's insignia or motto or whatever you want there, customize it to make sense for your school. This is now if you want your students to log in via Google, and with Google Classroom, you have to make sure this is ticked. If this is not ticked and you want them to log using Google, it will not work. So please make sure if you're having them log in with Google, that is done. If you're logging in with Clever or ClassLink from your district, even though it's a single standalone school, you're now giving the district control over your account. You can go ahead and do so. We suggest you don't, because many times when you want things to happen, you have to go through your district at your tech person to do it, and that takes time. Whereas if you're managing your account yourself, you do things immediately and they're done. But and anyway, all of these things are here for you to do. If you want your students to sign up by themselves and your teachers to sign up by themselves, you can allow that. So when they log in on their page where it's that page that says allow students single sign in, you have to make sure they have this code so that they sign into the correct spaces. And with a school reset, this is really, really, really important for those of you who are coming back to typing agent. You need to make sure you reset your students because your students are going to move up a grade level, and or they should be moving up a grade level, and you want them to start with new goals. So there's a support thing there where we said create a standalone resetting students, and we detail exactly what you have to do in this solution center file. We suggest that you move them to, and here have this archive the data, and if you move over the tooltips, we tell you what that means. We want you to make sure delete the existing student progress. You don't have to worry because you will have already archived that by clicking that button here. You now want to clean the interface, and you can change which date. Typically, you start your delete progress up to whenever your school ended. If it was July 31st, click July 31st. So we'll wipe out all the data up to that particular day. If you want to move students to the next grade level, well, yes, tick that, because that's typically what you want them to do. You don't want them to stay in grade 3 for the rest of their lives, working towards grade 3's goals. If you want to get rid of students who've never used your accounts, used any accounts, sure, go ahead and do that. And if you want to reset all of your students' passwords, you can click that to do so. If you don't, then don't do it. It's up to you. So you can go there, submit this, and then you'll see here, you just go to this view status, and this will tell you where you are in that reset progress. Typically, we take 24 hours to do that. So if I were to set this now, by tomorrow morning, this will already be done. We tend to do our resets at 9 p.m. Pacific time. So anytime if you get this done before 9 p.m. Pacific time, then the next day you will have these all ready for you. Okay, so that was a long time going through that, but it was important that you saw these. In the school, that's how you manage the school management areas. And should, again, you have any questions about any of these, just go to the Solution Center, put in school admin, comma, put in your keyword, target settings, and you will get things to do with target settings or grade book or grade settings. They're there for you. I'm now going to go in there and click classrooms. It tells me the classrooms I have, and I can click on one classroom and I can see who the students are, who the teachers are. If I wanted to edit my classroom, I can go ahead and that. See, students are disabled to self-register. I can always change that and have them self-register, update these. If I gave them the wrong grade level, I can change it and update it. It's whatever. I can go in and do this. If I gave my duties over to a rostering system, they get to take control of that, and I don't like that, but it's up to you. If you wanted to delete the class, you can delete the classroom, but the students will move to the unassigned students area. So be careful when you're deleting the classroom. It does not mean delete the students. It's just the classroom. Then if I were to click on, oh, and it's important for this, just in case you were, you wanted to upload your students and you wanted to make sure they were in the correct classroom, just this is the class code you need to take to put in that CSV file you had if you didn't put your own class code there. I'm now going to go to user management. Oh, you know what? Let me come back to that. Upload history. Remember where we went 1, 2, 3? And I really took my time to go through that with you. Well, if you didn't want to go step by step through that, you can actually go ahead and do it via this means. It's here, you understand it, and it's just like a one-shot deal. I can go upload. I've already created all my CSV files. I can go upload my staff, my teachers, my classrooms, my students. Boom, I'm done. I don't have to worry about that anymore. Now going on to user management. I'm going to take a little bit of time here. As a school admin, if I wanted to, notice here all of a sudden, I have this add students, add staff button. If I were using Clever, ClassLink, or some other rostering system, I will not be able to use this button. This button will not be here. But since I'm not, I can click on here. I can import staff students. I can add a single student, or I can add an individual staff member. So I have the choice of adding a single student. If a student comes to my school, I can give my student whatever name I wanted, give them whatever password I wanted, put them in a particular grade level to make sure that curriculum is assigned to that student, assign the student to the correct teacher, first and last name, that's done. That student can now go in and use the program immediately. No need waiting for someone else to do that. Same thing if a teacher comes to my school and I want my teacher to have access to Typing Agent immediately, I can go ahead and add that single teacher right here. So note again, I can upload them with a CSV file or add them manually. Whichever is easier for you to do, we're here to help. If I were to go across here, remember I have 100 licenses. It tells me, the green tells me how many I've used, how many students are in unassigned, and how many licenses I have available to me. Why I'm showing you this is many times teachers will say, hey, I have 100 licenses, but I'm trying to add people into my account, but it's telling me I've used all of my licenses. Well, many times I'm going to click this filter, and it tells me if I can filter by school admins, teachers, all students, and unassigned students. Many times there are students sitting in this unassigned students area, and this is actually eating up your license areas. So when your licenses, so should ever you run out of licenses and you know you have extra licenses, go right here. You may have students who are no longer at your school if you didn't get rid of those unused spots when you reset your account, or you deleted a class but did not delete the students. They'll be sitting right here under this filter in this unassigned students area. So if these students still apply, or if I wanted Bob, he's here, I can actually go in and edit this user, put Bob here, give Bob a new username, password. Yes, he's in grade 4. I don't want to edit the user. I can edit him from here, unassigned. I can, let's see. I can put him here. I can move him for grade 4. And oh, a lot of times, too many times, they're asking me, if this student has done something or did something badly, started the whole program badly, and you wanted to reset their data, you can actually go ahead and reset it, but do not promote the child to the next grade level. you can actually go ahead and do that student and reset that student. So you don't have to, you can just delete all of that particular student's progress. So when the student logs in again, be it a grade 5 student, the student will start with the placement test and diagnostic test. What I wanted to show you really was this, for this Bob, instead of having him in unassigned, I need to click on this enrollment. And I can search for a classroom to put him in. He's in grade 5. Notice when I put grade, whatever, these are the options for my school. I can then choose the classroom I want him to go in. Notice Bob, his name then appears with his class, and then that's sorted out. And when I click on him, he's there. Boom. I click on grade 5 because this is where he is. Notice Bob is there in that grade 5 classroom. I want to check to see if I have done that well. User management. Notice he is no longer in this unassigned students area. He's no longer in unassigned. So notice what I did there. As the school administrator, I was able to enter as a teacher. And here, because I am responsible for everybody in my school, I have this here. This here, oftentimes, if I have a smaller screen, I will just see something that looks like a hamburger. It looks like this. So if my screen is small, but because I'm using a larger screen, I don't tend to have that issue. But should you ever see this hamburger, you can actually click here and all the classrooms in your school will then appear. Should you want to add a new classroom, you can go here. If you're importing via Google, you can click the import via Google and you can sign in with your Google credentials. And if you're not sure with how to do that, well, the Solution Center, and I'm going to move that from there, this Solution Center here will tell you. And then you just go school admin Google set up or something like that. So all of these things that are related to Google will show up. And this is the one, Google Classroom Setup. I click on this and we walk you through how you can set up 1, 2, 3, step by step. And notice there's even a video there to show you how you can roster with Google Classroom. So that's there. So you can add via that means. If you are not using Google, you can click here and you can give your class a name, choose the grade level. This here you have the primary teacher, that is who is the main teacher of this account. But if there were multiple teachers, you need to have access to this. Just click on, double click, and it's going to show you different teachers in your school that you can then assign this classroom to. So I can go to Scully and I can assign that to that teacher. So now this will be an additional teacher for this classroom. Let me give my classroom a name. Let's say, I don't know what to call it. Yuppie. And I'm going to give it grade 7. TA help, that's the teacher. These here are for days. You'll see stars. If I don't see my class every day, I choose the days that I see that class. So on those particular days, that will show up. See, notice immediately my yuppie comes, there's my classroom. And I have that star there because today I'm doing this recording on a Thursday. So that's why that's there. See, my TA help is the main teacher and my Scully was an additional teacher who can have access to my classroom. So this is why these are there. So I can now always go, if I wanted to do anything, move my kids out of unassigned and put them in this particular classroom, I can actually go ahead and do that. But I just now wanted to show you as the administrator, you can log on as the teacher and see exactly what it is that the teacher sees. You can go through everything that the teacher sees. And again, I'm just logging in for this particular classroom. If I wanted to see what this grade 4 Smith is doing, I can click on 4 Smith, and I can go click on see what any particular child is doing. If there's a special needs student, I can click in and do accommodations for that student. If that student, because this student is in grade 4, and this child is really doing extremely well, I can change this from 20 to 25 words per minute at 85% accuracy, and I can even make it 86 just to challenge this kid. And because I've changed this, I'm going to have to change this and make this say 30. Let me put 31, 90, whatever. Because if I made, remember, our grading will always happen on this 2-star realm. So if I adjust this, then I should realistically adjust this. These are the ones too for this particular student who's really a high flyer. And then all I have to do is click and save. I'm not going to change my maximum retries because I want this to be set at 0. So if I then, on the flip side of this, if this student were someone who were really struggling, I looked at the progress report and saw that this child was consistently just getting 20, 20, or because for this one, notice I didn't save it. So I can go back and let me just click on this student one for accommodations. This kid kept getting 15 words per minute at 80% accuracy. So I know this is really too hard for my student 20. So I can actually go in, if 15 is too difficult, I can go in and change this to say 13. If I'm seeing he or she's getting 13, I'm going to put 13 for now. I'm not going to change my accuracy. So that student gets to start working at 13. I'm going to put this to 10. And then I'm going to change this to 16 or 17. So I'll put 16. I'm not adjusting my accuracy. I just want my student to work better or not frustrate the student a bit. So I'm going to make modifications just for this student and save it. Once I make modifications, save it, then you'll see that this asterisk will appear to say that some adjustments have been done for the student. Adjustments can be made in terms of targets, in terms of settings, and many times students may see that keyboard with the hand showing them exactly what to do, and they don't want to see it. Well, you can lock it so that they can't take it off, because they can set that in their way. They can change their settings. So you can go ahead and do that. For games, you can do things for specific students. If there's a student that only has one hand, you can go in and modify for this particular student. And notice it's telling me I'm making modifications for student 1. I can make this just for a right-handed student. So this one-handed student will have instructions just with one hand. And if these here are there for high contrast, closed captioning, all these things are there for accessibility options for your students. Digital citizenship curriculums, if you want a student just to have access to one thing at a time, I can go ahead and lock all these others. And you'll see that it shows up as locked, and only the digital citizenship curriculums that I want them to do, they will have access to. So that's how you can use those edit forms for them. In terms of your teachers, we did settings, their target settings, their games, all of those, their grade books, their reports. Your classroom teachers for this particular classroom has access to all of these reports. And remember, with experience points, we open up different curriculums for your students. So if you want to see which curriculums are actually active for your students, you can go on there, and only the ones that are green will tell you which ones are opened. If they're not green, then they're not open. My favorite report for teachers will be this progress report, because you choose the curriculum they're using, and it will tell you the legend, who's getting 3 stars, 2 stars, completed stars, working, or flagged for a problem. And flagged for a problem is whenever they're getting 70% or less. So that means that child is having issues. So please go ahead and change them. And all of these reports are generally really important for the teacher to pay attention to. Do take some time, because I know this webinar is going on really long, but go ahead, look through them, look in this reports area, school, admin, or teacher, doesn't matter. And what I saw was progress reports. I can actually go there and I get a report, and this here will tell me specifically what to do, how I do it, what types of information I get from these. Because in that progress report, notice I can get a progress report on any of the keyboarding foundations, digital citizenship, basic codes, any of these curriculums. I can get it. I can get a summary or a detailed report. So it's important that I take the time to go through these. Then in terms of the scheduled tests, remember, these are the tests that you, the administrator or the teacher, may have created her own schedule, her own class schedule test. So you can go and see those. The activity logs will tell you what your teacher has done, if they've made any changes, what changes have been made. If your students have submitted work in their notepad, they can go ahead and do that. And then for the teacher, notice the teacher also has that help button. So the teacher, instead of doing school admin, teachers will put teacher and then put progress report. And then if something comes up as general or teacher, there it is. You can go ahead and do this. One thing, this report here, this activity report, it's really important. We're finding this is what, with kids working at a distance, working from home during these really trying times, teachers like to keep track of what their students are doing. So this weekly activity report will tell you exactly what your students have done. It even tells you what the student sees on their interface. And this teacher will see that from this particular report here. They can go and figure out, they can customize the dates they want, but they can see just for specific Monday to Sunday what their kids have done. And again, please use the help or the solution center to find out more about what the teachers see. Now, admins, notice you're the admin because you always have admin. If you were signed in as a teacher, you would have the word roster here. So as the admin, you can always go back, and I did not show you your reports. Your reports are here. You can always do, this was class reports, so you don't have to click on these individual classrooms if you don't want to. You can click on reports. Oftentimes you will be able to do by all, but with this class report, it's usually by classroom. So you can go, but you can select all students or specific students should you want to see a particular report. So these are the active student activity. These for classrooms in particular, we give you exactly what you see in each report in green. You may not see them on my screen now, but when you log in, you'll see exactly what you would want to see in here. One of the best ones is this custom student report, because it gives you practically anything you want to know about your students and how well they're doing within Typing Agent. The diagnostic test, when kids enter Typing Agent, the diagnostic test, we ask them to do that test. It's the first thing they do. It's going to be used, and whether the kid is in kindergarten or grade 12, they have to do the diagnostic test, because we're going to see how well they've done from the first time they entered the program until when they're done. So as they go through the worlds, they do that test, and as the kids go through their worlds or climb their mountains, they're going to be given that same diagnostic test at different intervals. Then you will be able to go in and run this diagnostic test report and see exactly how well they've done with a grade level, with a grade. When you've done A, B, C, D, happy face, sad face, whatever, they'll get that graded thing next to them. The final evaluation, it's given that test based on the 2-star setting at the end. When kids have said they've completed typing agent, well, that's there. We give you who has done what. The focus report, again, you can drill down and see what kids have done, how many stars they've earned for any particular lesson. Again, just go through these things and you will see what exactly each means in terms of the class. And then if you wanted to see school reports, that is based on generally what's going on in your school, you can go in and search any of these reports. And there we will pull up the report for you. You can do all classrooms or select specific classrooms you'd like to do. Pull the report. Note all of our reports, you can print them or you can download them. So don't be afraid, go ahead, use those reports. And finally, with curriculum, as I was telling you, don't be afraid to let your kids go ahead, use the curriculums. We have all of these different ones for your students. So when your student has told you they've completed typing agent, they may have finished this portion. That is, if they're in grade 4, they would have completed the K3 plus foundation for grade 4. But they may not have finished these additional curriculums for grade 4. So do have them go ahead and do any of those curriculums for them. Now, I know this has been really long, but please, I just wanted to give you a lot of this information concerning typing agent. Should you ever have any questions, remember, you can always go to the Solution Center, as I told you, and it's always there, or as an admin, you click on your admin button and it's here. Or you can always go to this in-app chat button here, click on that. You can search for our articles, just put in your keywords, reports, and you click it and we will put up different reports for you to click on. That connects you directly to the Solution Center. Or you can send us a message and click right here, write in your message. If you're having trouble, you can always send us an attachment. Like if something didn't work, take a screenshot. They always help us with troubleshooting, so we know exactly what your issue is. Tell us what type of computer you're using, what browser you're using, and this is what's happening. That helps us really a lot with troubleshooting. So in the months of August, September, October, note that we're extremely busy because we get lots and lots of support questions. So please use that help center because it's going to save you a lot of time. And our goal is to answer your questions within 2 hours. But sometimes 2 hours is really long. So use that help center, use the Solution Center, see if they will answer your questions, or go send us a question. You can always write to support@typingagent.com, or notice we even have a YouTube channel. The YouTube channel will host our videos, and we've done videos upon videos. So practically anything you ask is probably on our YouTube channel. Just go onto the YouTube channel, look through what we have, and see if there's something that meets your needs within there. We're always adding to it. And if there's a video that you'd like to see, well, just send it to us and we'll be willing to do that for you. So again, thank you for your patience. Thank you for listening. I know this has been a long webinar, but I tried to cover everything that you could possibly ask as an administrator of a standalone single school. So I hope you're a little bit more comfortable. Should you have any questions, always remember, write us using that in-app chat, send us, use that support, use the support or Solution Center, or write to support@typingagent.com. We'll be happy to assist you. So thank you so much, and I wish you all the best as you use Typing Agent. Ciao, bye-bye.